Hello, I'm Annie, and these are my musings. So, today's video, I just checked my air conditioners off. Today's video, I'm very excited about because I'm going to be talking about Doctor Who, but specifically, I'm going to be talking about Thasmin, which is the Doctor and Yaz's relationship in Doctor Who. And I want to start this off with a few disclaimers because I know this fandom. The first one is I love Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. I love her era. I love the writing of it. I love the characters. I love the plots. I genuinely, there's not one thing about it I don't like. I mean, it's not perfect by any means. I'm well aware of that, but I do really enjoy it. So, I'm not really gonna, look at it critically and, dislike things about it that I don't actually dislike. Like, there will be some things that I don't like about it, but I'm not gonna, be hating on it or ranting about it because overall I tend to like it. So if that's not, your view, that's fine. You are entitled to your opinion, that's also fine. But, there is a way of expressing these opinions, in my opinion. And, I don't want this video to be like a space where people are like, oh, well, you like that? You're an idiot. Like, just be kind. Just be kind in the comments. That's all I'm asking. Second, I was an early Thasmin shipper. I shipped them from season 11, episode 4, I want to say. Whenever the companions officially started traveling with the Doctor, I shipped Yaz and 13 from that moment. So I'm biased because I wanted them to be a thing for so long, and then they actually were a thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, so exciting, so exciting. So I do come at it from that point of view of being really excited about something that I thought would never actually happening. And my final disclaimer is I'm not claiming to speak for anyone besides myself. I am LGBT, and I'm gonna talk about the representation aspect of this relationship, but I'm not claiming to speak for other LGBT people. Some people are gonna like it, some people aren't. We're not a hive mind. We're not like the Ood. Everyone has their own tastes and their own opinions, and that's fine. Just be kind about it. I know this fandom. Just be kind, please. So yeah, with all those disclaimers out of the way, let's get into the video. So, as I said before, I started shipping Thasmin from season 11, episode 4. Whenever the companions officially joined the Doctor and were like, we want to travel with you, like, Yaz's words in that scene just made me ship it. Because the way I saw Yaz as a character was she wasn't very, like, touchy-feely, overly emotional, like, sensitive, like, type. But she really, like, from the beginning was, like, ride or die for the Doctor. And that I took as, like, a romantic thing. That and the way that Yaz would look at the Doctor, like, I'm sorry, but that was obviously romantic. And I think it was intended that way, at least by Mandip Gill, who plays Yaz. Like, she from the beginning sort of had that headcanon, I guess, for Yaz. That she had, like, feelings for the Doctor. And I genuinely think, like, if it wasn't for that, and it wasn't for the fact that, like, so many fans, you know, latched onto that and really appreciated that and, you know, wanted that to be a thing in the show, I don't think it would have been a thing. Like, I don't think it was necessarily planned from the beginning, but I do think once the writers behind the show saw the chemistry that the fans saw from the beginning, they were like, oh, we should make it a thing. We should make it a thing. And I do appreciate that, because I feel like a lot of writers would have just been like, no, the fans are delusional, they're seeing things that aren't there. But instead, Chibnall and the other writers, like, were like, yeah, let's make this more obviously romantic. And I have to say, I think this started in season 12, because the Haunting of Villa Diodati, I believe, was the episode, when Yaz is talking to, I forget the other character's name, but Yaz is talking to this other character about, like, Lord Byron, because she was in love with him. And then Yaz is like, oh, well, my person's a bit different. And she's clearly, like, talking about the Doctor. And I'm like, that, what? I still remember watching that episode and being like, oh, are they doing this? Are they doing this? But then I wasn't entirely sure, because it sort of wasn't, like, a major plot point. It was just, like, a line, so I was like, well, maybe it was just that writer or whatever. But then we get to Eve of the Daleks. And in that episode, Yaz is basically like Dan basically notices that Yaz is looking at the Doctor with, like, love and affection and, you know, and he's like, do you know, like her? And Yaz is basically like, well, I haven't even come out to myself yet, Dan. But, like, I was so excited when I first watched that episode. I was just blown away. I was like, yes, they're doing it. Thasmin is the thing. Like, Thasmin forever. Thasmin for the win. And then, Legend of the Sea Devils, Power of the Doctor, like all of them, all of those episodes, Yaz plays a crucial role in those episodes. And I'm sorry, but like, to the people who don't like this era because of the way the characters were written, I would disagree with that, because I really do like the writing for the characters. I feel like they're very three-dimensional, very down-to-earth characters. Like, they're not superheroes, and they're not supposed to be. They're just supposed to be regular people. And that includes Yaz. That absolutely includes Yaz. But, like, Yaz is very smart. She's very brave. She's very, everything you'd want a companion to the Doctor to be. But she's just a normal person. Like, she's an average person. And she falls for the Doctor. And, like, who wouldn't? Honestly, like, if I was traveling with 13, I would absolutely fall for her too. So, like, yes, I get you, yes. And like, I'm sorry to the people who don't like 13 in her era, but she's, in my view, now I'm biased because I'm gay, but she's the hottest Doctor. She just, like, her in the tux, that still gets me. Like, whenever I see pictures of her in that tux, I'm always like, I love you, 13. Anyway, so Thasmin went on quite a journey. Like, in season 11, I really believe they weren't meant to be written as romantic. They were just meant to be friends. I don't know where, like, they had planned to take Yas's character. I don't know if she was going to end up with Ryan or whatever. But I do think that by the time they got to season 12, they had, like, seen the chemistry, and they'd seen the fans talking about it, and they'd seen, like, a lot of stuff that, like, finally led to Thasmin becoming canon. So, yes, Thasmin is canon. Like, Yaz has feelings for the Doctor, and the Doctor has feelings for Yaz. The tragedy of their story lies in the fact that by the time they, like, confess those feelings and to each other, and, like, the other one knows about it, well, actually it's Dan, basically, who confesses to the Doctor, and it's like, oh, Yaz likes you, and the Doctor's like, yeah, I like Yaz too. Like, no, Doctor, Yaz likes you, like, romantically. And so yeah, so that would be me, like, reacting to someone having romantic feelings too. So, Doctor, I feel you. I think in that scene it was done really well. I think it was meant to show, like, the Doctor's shocked that Yaz, this amazing human being, has feelings for her, and that she's also like, well, this is inconvenient because I know my time's almost up, and obviously if there was more time, I'd like to spend it with Yaz, but, I can't. So that's the tragedy of their story, that they don't have enough time to spend with each other. And that goes from, like, all the way to Power of the Doctor, when they get ice cream and they sit on the roof of the TARDIS, and they, like, talk about their adventures, and what they did together, and like that scene is so bittersweet and I love it. I love that scene. Like, but yeah, I really like that scene. I do agree with the people who would have liked a kiss. I would have liked a kiss. I'm gonna be honest, I would have liked a kiss. However, I do not think that two characters kissing is necessarily the end all be all of a relationship. It's just not. Like, especially with a character like the Doctor who, like, if I'm being honest, like, they're not that touchy-feely of a character. The Doctor is always, like, a bit unsure of romantic things in most of their incarnations that I've seen so far anyway. Even 10, like 10 and Rose never kissed, like, and no one is like, oh well 10 didn't love Rose, and I'm like, no one ever says that. So why do you say that about 13? Yes. It's the double standards. It's the double standards. I swear. But yeah. I really love that scene with the Doctor and Yaz on the roof of the TARDIS eating their ice cream. Because I feel like it encapsulates what was special about Thasmin, to me anyway, is that they're able to be there for each other and support each other and, you know, find these lighter moments in the midst of difficult things. And I think that that's an important skill for any relationship. Like, life sometimes gets hard, and you need someone with you who's gonna be able to support you and help you and, you know, find those lighter moments amidst the difficulties living life. So yeah. Now some people I've seen online say that Thasmin was queerbaiting. And I'm like, no. Because first of all, if it wasn't canon, I would almost agree, but it was. It absolutely was. Like, the Doctor literally said to Yaz, like, if I was gonna date someone, it would be you. Like, that's canon. The Doctor had feelings for Yaz. It was just that Doctor Who thing where, like, the Doctor can't really commit to a relationship because of the nature of regeneration and, you know, like, and in that point in the story, the Doctor knew that she was going to regenerate, and obviously, like, when the Doctor regenerates, they have no control over who they become, or, like, there was no guarantee that Yaz would even like the new Doctor. Like, I don't know Yaz's sexuality, but, like, she liked 13, who was a woman, and, you know, if the Doctor became a man again, which, you know, did happen, there's no guarantee that Yaz would have still had feelings. So I really think that, you know, Thasmin's ending was the best that it could have been, given, like, the nature of regeneration and the nature of the show. So, yes, there was, like, a bittersweet aspect to it, but that's true for most Doctors and most companions. Like, there's always, Like, the doctor always has to, like, keep going. You know? That's just the nature of the show. And their companions, you know, hopefully survive. Hopefully, you know, get a good ending. And I think Yaz got a good ending with the support group of all the former companions that Graham started. And I really hope we see Graham again, and Ryan, and Yaz. Maybe if the doctor's ever a woman again, you know, she can meet up with Yaz and be like, hey, I'm a woman again. Do you like me now? No, just kidding. But yeah, I and that's just like, that's not even taking into account like the personality changes that can come with regeneration. Like, the doctor really never knows what they're gonna get when they regenerate. So yeah, it's basically like, imagine that was like a real thing, like regeneration. Like, you could just wake up tomorrow and be someone completely different. And like, I imagine that you would want to be with someone who would understand that. So, but like, if you couldn't, if like, because, you know, the doctor really can't, like, there's no other Time Lords or like any other species that like regenerates and that the doctor like regularly spends time with, you know? There's the master, but obviously that's not gonna work for a multitude of reasons. But I really like the Doctor and Yaz. And I think all the people who are saying it's queerbaiting are not really understanding what the difference is between queerbaiting and a queer relationship not having like a bittersweet or sad ending. Let me explain that. So basically, queerbaiting is when the writers of a story, whether it's a show, a movie, a book, whatever, usually it's like a show or a movie in my experience, they like hype up a queer relationship to get more viewers, and then they like don't really follow through. So maybe they kill off one of the characters, or they like, you know, don't actually have the characters get together, or, you know, they don't have the characters like have reciprocal feelings for each other. Maybe like one character has feelings but the other one doesn't, and you know, things like that. Now with Thasmin it's tricky because I do understand that like they don't start dating, but like the Doctor doesn't really date for the most part. Like, you could argue with River maybe, but I would argue that wasn't dating either. Like, the Doctor just, and there is that line where the Doctor's like, if I was gonna date someone, it would be you. And there's also like the whole part where they're under the sea and the Doctor's like, not a bad date, am I? And it's like, you know, yeah, it's like, yeah. And so there's definite like interest shown by the Doctor to date Yaz. it's just like the timing is terrible because the doctor knows that she's gonna regenerate into someone else, and there's no guarantee that Yaz will one date that person. So, like, I really think that Thasmin's story is beautiful and powerful and meaningful to me personally. Obviously, I can't speak for every LGBT person, nor would I want to. But I do think that there are a lot of LGBT people who did feel seen and represented by Thasmin's story. Especially as a story of, like, coming to terms with her feelings and, like, I didn't even know at the time of watching that episode how much I would relate to that story, because, like, I've had to come to terms with things recently. So yeah. So yeah, I would definitely argue that the husband is not queerbaiting at all, because they both have feelings for each other, and that's canon. That's in the show. Like, that's just there. So yeah, definitely not queerbaiting. And, like, for me personally, I really love them. I ship them, like I said, from season 11 and all the way to the end. So, and I'm happy with their story. Like, was it perfect? No. Is any story perfect? No. Like, I always say this, like, but people aren't perfect. So any story that we create can't be perfect because we're imperfect humans. We all have flaws. None of us are going to create something that's, like, flawless. But we can do our best to, be aware of harmful tropes and things like that. But none of us are without our flaws and blind spots, and that includes me. Absolutely. But, like, I don't really understand the idea that Thasmin is queerbaiting, because if it was, then they wouldn't have done anything with it. Like, that's part of the definition of the word, so. But they did do things with it. They did make it a canonical relationship in the show. And yes, there wasn't a kiss, but like I said before, a kiss is not indicative of, like, a relationship. It doesn't solely define the characters. Like, would I have loved a kiss? Yes. Do I think they needed it? No. And, you might disagree with that. That's fine. Just do so in a kind way. But I do think that overall, the relationship between the Doctor and Yaz was well written, beautiful, and just so meaningful to me. Like, and I don't think that, anyone gets to take that away. Like, obviously everyone has their own opinion, and that's fine. But I'm so excited for the big finish with the 13 and Yaz, and who knows who will join them in Big Finish, because, you know, sometimes they make up their own companions, I've heard. But yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Really fun. And, so basically, I love Thasmin. They are not queerbaiting. And, yeah. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please subscribe to my channel. It helps a lot. It really does. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.